Corbin's birth was a challenging and complicated event, and his parents never imagined that it would result in his death. A miracle occurred when Corbin's father, Jude, cried and begged the priest to baptize his dead kid. You'll be shocked. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Jude and Sandra made the decision to date and eventually get married in order to advance their friendship after years of acquaintance. People praised their affection for one another and their deep friendship. They were the ideal illustration of how two individuals may unite out of unadulterated love and understanding. Due to their shared love of children, the couple was excited to begin a family as soon as they were married. Jude has always expressed his desire to have a kid who could accompany him to baseball games. Sandra, however, desired a female with whom she could spend time and dress alike. They had no idea at this moment that their unborn kid would fill their life with so much fear and sorrow. When Sandra learned she was pregnant a year after getting married, she and her husband were overjoyed. Sandra and Jude eagerly anticipated the day of their scan to learn their baby's gender. They jokingly wagered that Sandra would be responsible for adding more manly elements to the nursery's decor if it was a boy, while Jude would have to decorate the space with pink accents if it was a girl. They had no idea that what they would find would destroy their whole world. Sandra had a number of examinations and tests in the weeks that followed, such as transvaginal ultrasounds, blood tests, and scans. The time has finally come for the couple to find out their baby's gender. Tightly holding hands, they sat in the doctor's office anxiously. The doctor said, "It's a boy," which delighted Jude. Sandra first pouted before bursting into laughing at her husband's amusing antics as he joyfully threw his fist into the air. Her desire for a girl disappeared then, and she started looking forward to the birth of her pregnant boy. But when the pair saw the scowl that gradually formed on the doctor's face, they ceased their celebration. "Is something wrong, doctor?" Jude questioned, his heart thumping in his chest and his blood thumping in his ears. The abrupt shift in the doctor's attitude also clearly alarmed Sandra. After letting out a sigh, the doctor told the couple about the issue he had discovered via the transvaginal ultrasound and blood testing. Sandra developed preeclampsia, a serious pregnancy ailment marked by elevated blood pressure according to the test results. Both mother and child may experience life-threatening difficulties as a result. Fortunately, Sandra's illness wasn't too bad, so the doctor gave her the prescription medications she needed to control it. He also left them with a warning, but vowed to try his best to assist them. Sandra's illness may worsen into eclampsia, and she might have a seizure and finally lose consciousness. This news discouraged the pair. When they first tried to conceive a family, this was not how they had imagined their lives would turn out. They were certain that the pregnancy would go well just a few weeks ago, but suddenly it all looked like a pipe dream. Jude gave his wife his all support during the pregnancy despite everything. Their anticipation for the birth of their child was at an all-time high as the due date for the pregnancy drew near. Sandra unexpectedly went into labor 1 month ahead of schedule and was taken to the operating room for an emergency cesarean section. After a lengthy and intricate procedure, their baby boy was born without incident. Despite all odds, he was a healthy, adorable baby. As soon as the parents laid eyes on their little child, they fell in love. Unaware that the storm was only getting started, they believed it was gone. Corbin's parents started to realize anything was amiss a few months after he was born. The young boy would occasionally choke while nursing and scream infrequently or not at all. While he slept, his breathing also got difficult. They took their son to the doctor for a checkup since they were worried about his health, but the doctor assured them that everything was okay. When the kid was brought to 3 additional hospitals, the medical staff there also failed to discover any issues with him. They conducted a number of tests and exams, but they were unable to identify his ailment. One morning in the hospital, Sandra lost her temper and started crying because she was sick of hearing the same thing over and over. "I'm aware that something is off with my baby. I want my child saved by you. You can't even notice that my baby is ill." As Jude dragged her out the doctor's office, she let out a loud scream. Gloria, Jude's mother, paid the couple a visit later that week to talk about Corbin's baptism. She said that she wanted Sandra to have time to heal from the challenging pregnancy, which is why she hadn't brought it up sooner. "He can be baptized, but not just now. Our son's health is our first priority. Later baptism is an option." Jude clarified, "We can wait till he's mature enough to make this decision ourselves." Gloria, however, insisted that Corbin be baptized. She thought that by doing this, they or the physicians may be able to treat any concealed ailment. She felt that their boy will miraculously heal if they had enough confidence in this. The parents chose to baptize their child since there was no harm in attempting, but mostly to appease the old mother. They would then transport him to the city's top hospitals for appropriate care. That fateful Sunday, they were stuck in a heavy traffic congestion on their way to the church. Due to traffic, which should have taken 5 minutes, they were approximately 20 minutes from the church when a horrific incident occurred. Little Corbin's face became blue as he started choking and coughing frantically. Despite their best efforts, his parents were unable to alleviate their child's pain. Corbin struggled for a few minutes until he finally stopped breathing. Panicked, Sandra started screaming for someone to dial 911. They were lucky that a doctor was in the car next to theirs, even though the traffic would make it take a long time for an ambulance to get to them. Baby Corbin remained still and lifeless despite the doctor's attempts to provide chest compressions. "Baby, fight! Corbin, you're capable! Your father needs you!" Jude wailed while the doctor did cardiopulmonary resuscitation, but nothing happened. The doctor tried for many more minutes before checking Corbin's pulse. With a sigh, he then declared, "He's gone." As Jude heard the doctor's remarks, his eyes widened in fear. "No, no, 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 he cannot be deceased." Jude yelled with desperation. His mother's stirring remarks on baptism suddenly returned to him, igniting his resolve. There had to be something he could do. He would not surrender without a fight. Jude glanced forward and caught a glimpse of the church's steeple. He quickly grabbed the infant from his wife's arms and ran to the chapel. With his little son cradled against his chest, he hurried to the chancel. The priest, who was pacing the altar and praying in silence, was taken aback when the wide-eyed, perspiring, and panting stranger suddenly entered. Jude collapsed on his knees as he approached the altar. He then hurriedly recounted the priest the entire tale and requested that he baptize his young son. "I don't want to lose my only son," he sobbed. Little Corbin was already dead, so the priest's hesitation was understandable. Jude responded in a trembling voice, "You're a priest, unable to accept no. You believe in miracles, I know that. Please combine your faith with mine, and together we can revive my kid." Baptism is something I believe in. When the priest saw Jude's eyes, he was moved by compassion and consented to baptize the dead youngster. Jude clutched his hands in prayer and screamed to God as the priest hurriedly completed the required arrangements for the baptism while muttering prayers under his breath. The priest then submerged the icy, rigid infant in the water. It's amazing what occurred next. Jude heard the strongest newborn cry ever as the priest brought tiny Corbin out of the water. Little Corbin was wailing, and his eyes were wide open. Corbin's resurrection was nothing short of a miracle. Sandra entered shortly after and was astounded by what she saw. She wept in thanksgiving as she cradled her dripping infant. Jude was astounded by the way his act of trust had enabled the impossibility. They were quite appreciative of the priest. Corbin has been doing quite well ever since. He is 16 now, and since that day, he has never needed to visit the hospital. You may argue that he was really fortunate. What a fantastic tale. How do you feel about baptism? I appreciate you seeing, and I hope to see you in the future film. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.